Hi there, it's Tom Morgan here. Welcome to another weekly update. The weather is particularly atrocious today, so sorry if some of that comes across in the audio. It's raining really hard, and there's a glass ceiling here and glass walls just here. So it's kind of I'm very aware that it's raining. Not too much to talk about this time actually. It kind of feels like we're getting closer and closer to Ignite, and that often means that announcements and new updates are kind of held back a little bit if there's stuff they want to talk about at Ignite. So that's probably the reasons, for a little bit of slow up in news. But there's still things happening. There's still plenty to read up on and digest if you have the time. Let's dive in to the first item then. So it's another Graph community call, so one for this month, October. And if you're not aware of them, the Graph community calls are really good. They're aimed for people who develop on Microsoft Graph. They're driven by that product team, that product group, and they're open to anyone to join. They're on a monthly cadence. You can join them live, or they get streamed after, so they get recorded and they get put on YouTube afterwards. So loads and loads of good opportunity for training. If you're doing anything with Graph, then this is a really good place to go, to get that feedback, to get that information, to ask questions as well. There's normally every month, there's normally things they want to tell you about. There's announcements, or there's updates, or there's how-tos. There's also time for questions as well. There's an IM channel, and then you're talking to the PMs and the people in that team who are actually building the products you're using. So it's hugely valuable. So I'll put a link to the latest Graph community call if you want to watch that. I definitely recommend doing it. Second thing I want to bring your attention to is a blog post by Scott Hanselman, and it's about something he's been working on for a little while. It's training for people new into C#, .NET, ASP.NET. Why am I telling you about this? This is supposed to be aimed at Teams developers. Why am I giving you courses about beginners training? Well, actually more and more I'm seeing people coming into doing Teams development, Teams platform development, and Graph platform development who are not traditional, in the sense trained developers. They haven't come from that developer background. They've come from an IT pro background. They've come from a user adoption background. What they're finding is, actually they come through the low code or the no code solutions, and they kind of transition and they kind of get into coding almost by accident. They just need to get something done, so they do a little bit of C#, and then before you know it, they're kind of dabbling their feet in. And I think it's good sometimes to, if you're going through that process, you want some resources, right? You want help, you want training. If you're into this stuff, if you find it interesting, where do you go next? Well, Scott's done a really cool set of, there's over 100 videos in here. They're all nicely structured on how to get started. So it's a beginner's guide. Scott is a really good teacher. He breaks it all down. It's well put together. It's thoughtful. It's funny. It will keep you engaged. It's not like a long monotone presentation or anything like that. It's snappy, and it's good. Each video is less than 10 minutes long, and you've got a couple of different ways of consuming them. So they're all YouTube playlists. So if that's easiest, then you can go and find them. You can go and search them from the link I've given you. You can go and find all the YouTube playlists, and you can list them up and play them that way if that works. If you can't do YouTube, they're also on Channel 9. The nice thing about Channel 9 is that you can also download them. So if you want to watch them offline, if you're on the plane or anything like that, so maybe if you're going to Microsoft Ignite and you're spending a long time on a plane to get there, maybe consider downloading these. You can also get RSS feeds for the downloads, which is really nice. So for each of the playlists, you can get an RSS feed to download it, so you can automate that download as well if you want to do that. So really good training content. If you're dabbling in this world, if you're getting into it, or you want to get into it and you're not sure where to start, definitely recommend checking out these videos. And finally, well, almost finally, because I'll mention Ignite right at the end, but the final link I'm going to put in the notes is just around the Surface event that happened this week. So just in case it passed you by, just be aware. Microsoft did a big Surface event. They launched a bunch of new things, bunch of new devices, bunch of new Surfaces, some headphones, a Duo and a Neo, both of which are unusual and are folding. So a folding tablet, a folding phone. Very interesting, definitely worth watching this space. No particular calls to action, I just thought it would be interesting in case you missed out on it. It's worth kind of catching up on the news, because especially the Surface Duo is kind of making everybody sit up and look at Microsoft again. in a slightly new light, maybe because it's unusual in that it's going to run Android. So it's going to be a Microsoft hardware device that will run Android. So Microsoft getting back into the phone business, back into the phone game. Yeah, you might have thoughts on that. Let me know in the comments. It's always interesting, or let me know on Twitter. But yeah, it's good to see Microsoft kind of coming up with new hardware. I like all their hardware, personally. I think it's really nice. I've never had any problems with it. And then finally, I said I was going to mention it, we're less than 30 days to Ignite now, so a couple of different things. If you're going to be attending Ignite, then plenty of videos for you. If you're not going to be attending Ignite, you can actually watch everything virtually. You can sign up at no cost. You can stream everything just like you were going to be there. So plenty to be. This rain is torrential. Yeah, so plenty and plenty for you. Even if you're not going to be attending Ignite, you can still get all of the great session content. Alright, I think that's everything from me. So next week should be a pretty exciting one, although I doubt I can talk about very much of it. So there's a MVP meetup next week, so I'm getting on a plane in a couple of hours time to go to Amsterdam, and it's a Teams Airlift event, so be good to catch up with all the folks there for that. And yes, so that's going to be me next week. So I'm going to try and battle this weather to try and get to the airport, which should be fun. But for you, I hope you have a brilliant rest of your weekend, whatever's left of it, and a great week next week. And I will talk to you again very soon.